Hey folks, Real World Prepper here, and like the title says, American Evangelical Patriots. And I want to tell you just a little bit about what I mean by that. I got a chance to meet a fellow American Evangelical Patriot by the name of Zombie Farmer. Many of you know him. If you don't, you should. We'll talk about how that meeting took place, why I think connections like that are important, not only just via electronics, but also in other ways to communicate, but also live and in person when appropriate and when available. I'm also going to share just a little bit about a trip that I just took to Columbus, Ohio, and how I packed and prepared for that in the event that I had to get home in a hurry and with hardship. And we're also going to do an update on the call to action activities that I've asked of you guys, that many of you guys have responded to. We're going to talk a little bit about that, so stick around. Here's a little B-roll footage, if you will, leading into this video of the meeting with Zombie Farmer and the trip to Columbus, and I'll meet you on the other side of that. Here we go. And off for Christmas and Christmas Eve, and then off on New Year's Day, and just putting it all in one stretch. We're hosting Christmas this year just like we did Thanksgiving, you know, in the new place, and so it was nice. You know, Thanksgiving was nice. Right. Even had my liberal sister-in-law and our sister and brother-in-law.
That's awesome.
You know,
I don't think we're ready though. We still buying presents.
Well, I mean, I'm not done.
Always.
So finally got a chance to meet my buddy Zombie Farmer.
Yeah, in the flesh.
And so here we are on the side of the road. So
at a gas station.
At a gas station. Been a long time coming.
That's
Good
fast.
Dude here. Figure I'll put this up.
Go ahead.
On something.
You can post it.
You ought to get one too.
I think I will.
All right. All right, we'll check you later.
Not people want to leave me.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, hope you enjoyed that. So, American Evangelical Patriots. What that means is pretty self-explanatory. I'm an American. I am a Christian, evangelical, if you will, and I am a patriot. I love this country. I love it with all my heart. I love my Lord. I love Him with all my heart. All you got to do is ask Him, ask Christ to be a part of your life, to be in your life, for you to be in Him, and He'll answer that call if you're not already. And if you're not a Christian, I encourage you to keep watching this channel for preparedness sake anyway, because this is a lot bigger, and I hope that that one day you would strike up a relationship with our Creator. But the reason why it's so important, and I'll tell you, the way that I met Zombie Farmer is a coworker and myself had to go to a conference for work in Columbus, Ohio, and so we traveled from West Tennessee across to Nashville and up, and I just happened to be communicating with Zombie, who was just on the road, just because I talk to him pretty regularly, and just so happens along the way, several miles out from there, we happened to discover that we were in the same proximity, very close in fact, and so we stopped off and met, and it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool, and these kind of connections we need to be making, in my opinion. We definitely need to be making these connections, like I say, through this platform, through emails, through texts and phone calls, and just networking with like-minded people in different areas, particularly areas that are relatively close to your own, if not branching out even further, because when things fall apart and communication is no more, and of course we've been talking a good bit about communication, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute, it's going to be very beneficial for us to know some people. Obviously, you need to know your immediate surroundings and your immediate people, and people you can reach out to in a few minutes' time, or a few hours' time if you're doing it by foot or something. But if you know people and network with people in further distances from you, and have ways to communicate with those people, I think that's vitally important. Okay, so live and in person, it was a great meeting with me and Zombie Farmer. I'm glad to have gotten to do it. I hope that that's just the first of other in-person meetings we get to have, and I'll tell you about one that may very well be taking place soon. It's about like-mindedness, it's about preparedness, it's about networking, it's about communications, like I say. And if you guys don't already know, of course, I'm sure most of you know what's going on with the Second Amendment under attack there in Virginia. Well, January the 20th in Richmond, Virginia, there will be what is essentially, I don't know if there's an official title for it, but it's going to be like an open carry rally. There will be a bunch of people have committed anyway. Some militias have, and individuals and others have committed to showing up there to open carry, and of course, if you plan to take part in this, you need to make sure that your carry laws, your permit laws in your state are reciprocal. There in Virginia, they are for me, so you'll just want to make sure that you're not breaking any laws in that regard if you do go and participate. But I encourage you to participate. It is something that I am considering doing. I'm trying to see if it's something I can work out. This will take place on a Monday. That is a work day for me. I think that our freedoms and our rights and the expression of our rights and their importance to us warrant us taking action, and even if it's inconvenient. You know, our forefathers and those who fought for our independence as a nation, you know, I'm sure they went past inconvenient factors to gain what you and I enjoy as the freedoms that we still are scarcely and barely holding on to today. So that's something to think about if you guys want to do that. It's another opportunity for a lot of people to make connections, and not just about from YouTuber to YouTuber, although I imagine there will be some of that taking place, but just getting to know other people, talking to people. If you go to this thing, you're talking to people from other areas, and you might find out, hey, you're closer than you thought, and you make connections, and I can only see it being a win-win situation in that regard, okay? So going to my call to action video about communication strategies. First of all, this Richmond, Virginia thing, that could be a call to action too. But a lot of you guys have participated, guys and gals have participated with this, have sent me a lot of good information. I'm assessing this stuff. You've given me some more ideas. What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait until I'm getting more correspondence daily, really. So I'm going to let that kind of marinate and, go on for another couple of weeks until, or until the mail stops coming in. USPS, I mentioned. Also, by the way, if you haven't already, subscribe. Go to my About section for my USPS P.O. Box address, also email address there. You can also click the link and join me on Patreon for $1 a month if you want. Every little bit helps. I really appreciate those of you who have done so already and who support this channel. But go ahead and click that like and that subscribe if you haven't already. That's going to help this message go further. But nonetheless, I'm going to wait for a couple of reasons. We got Christmas around the corner, and then also some correspondence is still coming in. So a few more weeks, couple more weeks or so, and I'll be making my compilation, compressing it down, like I say, and then sending this stuff back out to you guys who have asked for it. And I appreciate that. So when I went to Columbus, we're going to talk about what I did there. I don't like traveling. I've gotten to where I like traveling less and less, okay? Getting far from my homestead, because that is where I plan on being. I'm a bug-in guy, okay? I don't have a place to bug out to. So when we traveled to Columbus, I had a total of about 30 pounds of gear. And this gear included just my regular travel stuff, changes of clothes, toiletries, etc. But it also included some self-protection items and, plenty of ammunition to go with them. I actually had a little AR pistol with a sling. I had my 9mm that I carry on my side. Had extra ammo for both of those. I also had enough food that would have sustained me minimal caloric daily intake for roughly 6 days. I had some water, not enough, but I had water filtration and ways to be able to drink water that I found and came across. Had a lot of rope, some bungee cords, some paracord, ferro rod, striker, a couple of knives, flashlights. Had plenty of warm clothes, water wicking clothes, changes of socks and underwear, thermal blanket, different things, fire starting materials. So I was prepared, if something had if it had all fallen apart, because you never know when this stuff is going to happen, but if it had all fallen apart while we were there, I was going to make my way best as I could back to my place. And that would have taken, it would have taken longer than the 6 days worth of food I had. It's just, I'm trying to pack in a way that that I could manage, also, trying to figure too that I may, get lucky and come up with some things along the way, and it's a chance you take. You can't necessarily prep for everything all the time. But anyway, so making connections, American Evangelical Patriots, that is who I want to make connections with. I want to make connections with American patriots who have the same moral compass that I feel like myself and my buddy Zombie do. I am not a perfect man by any means. That is not what I'm trying to say. But and I'm not saying you have to be a Christian to know me. That is not true. However, I just know the truth of Christ for myself and my life, and I want anybody who doesn't know that and to know Him and to know that truth. And making these connections with like-minded people, that is key. That is critical. That is what we need to be doing. I'm going to talk more on all of this stuff later. Coming up, I'm going to do another video. We're going to talk a little bit more as I know a little bit more about this Richmond, Virginia, January 20th. And we're going to also talk more about community building as it applies to us in the prepping and preparedness community and the Christian community. And I want to thank you, as always, for joining me here on The Real World Prepper, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye.